Laura Edwards, Extension State Climatologist, based out of the Aberdeen Regional Extension Center. So one of the first research projects that I've been working on the last couple years is a partnership with South Dakota soybean to help add instrumentation to weather stations like this, where we've added 2 extra thermometers, a low one and a high one, to directly measure temperature inversions and provide more information for pesticide applicators so that they have the best, most current information as far as weather conditions when they're spraying their pesticide. And so we have all that posted on the South Dakota Mesonet website. And a new addition that we're planning to add this coming year is a forecast piece so that we can look at the temperature and wind forecast for the next several hours, today to 2 days, to hopefully help producers and sprayers find the best window of opportunity to spray their pesticide. And this is true all across the state, but primarily in the corn and soybean growing region is where we're targeting these efforts. I'm also a part of a couple multi-state teams working with Extension in the North Central states. First is the North Central Climate Collaborative, working in 12 different states, and I'm one of the lead extension staff across the region that's organized this multi-state team to help lead and develop training programs, mostly for our extension colleagues, so that they can become more comfortable talking about climate with producers and doing some hands-on work and learning about how climate and agriculture is tied in a lot of different ways across the region for a lot of different crops and a lot of different production systems. And then also I work with the USDA Climate Hub, which is the Northern Plains region, which includes North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado. And there again, we've had a long time relationship with them since about 2014. And we're continuing to work together to provide training materials for extension professionals, but also for producers. And one of the most recent things that have come out of that partnership is the GrassCast maps that tries to make a projection of grass and forage production, looking at rainfall and satellite imagery all across the central states. So those are probably the top 3 things that I'm working on right now. I spent a lot of time on the phone and even before we had the pandemic, I spent a lot of time on Zoom because of a lot of multi-state coordination and talking with, what's going on around our region. One of the leading issues this summer in 2021 is drought. And so we work very closely with other agencies in the National Weather Service, other state agencies, I'll say, and the National Weather Service every week to talk about drought conditions and make a recommendation to the U.S. Drought Monitor authors for consideration in the map. And I know that has a lot of impacts financially for our producers across the state. That's tied to some USDA drought disaster relief programs. So most of my time this summer has been looking at drought and climate data and where it's getting better or worse, visiting with a lot of media about drought conditions almost pretty much on a weekly basis, and working with my extension colleagues, of course, keeping in touch with weather and climate every week, and what are the issues coming up, and working with all of them from insects and plant disease all the way up to livestock water and forage quality and all across the board there. I've been working with Extension since 2011, and I got hired when the system moved from the county-based system to the regional-based system, and I've really enjoyed living and working in Aberdeen. And it was a great opportunity for us to return home. Previously, we were living in Reno, Nevada, and I really love working with the farmers and producers in this area, and my colleagues in Extension have been really great to work with. My predecessor also laid the groundwork for collaboration with a lot of the partners and people that I work with now. And so what brought me here was, first of all, the job, but second, family and friends that are back here in the Dakotas and Minnesota. So a lot of questions, or most of the questions I get are, what are the climate outlooks? What's the weather forecast? And where can I find weather data from the past? And how do current conditions compare to historical conditions? And so I think that's kind of a lot of what I answer. I've learned a lot about crop production and livestock in the state. So I try to help bridge those connections with what are the climate conditions, and then what might you see out in the field, or what might be decisions you need to make. And so that's a way that I try to help anyway, tie in producers to what Extension and SDSU is doing.